We are live. Who day?
Who that?
Who day?
Who that?
Okay. Um. So, what is it like? About 2.5 hours ago, there. No, 1.5 hours ago. The NFL schedule officially released, and let me see if I can. There's this interesting website that I found that where people were like keeping track of basically like all of the leaks live, like the whole time, and
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw something like that.
it was kind of cool. But obviously now they have like the whole thing, and it's also like really well put together. So I'm gonna switch over to this screen real quick, and you can see this is the NFL schedule. Obviously, I'm blocking some of the ones on the end here, but I don't know if I can even. Now you can't see me, but I guess who cares about me? I'll just put me on like, well, I'll be up here.
Yeah.
Why not? Nobody needs
Okay.
to know that red means Christmas. I think you
Okay.
can probably figure that out.
Okay, bro.
There's a game in Dublin.
Yeah, I think this. I think that's the Colts game.
No, it's not.
Or is that the Steelers?
It is why God? You're sending the
Oh,
Irish, who never did
the
anything to
Steelers.
nobody, and like the Steelers have been oppressed, or the Irish have been oppressed enough throughout their history, and you're making them watch the Steelers, like absolutely just horrendous, terrible form by the
Bro,
NFL, disgusting,
I want to
honestly.
know what Germany did to the NFL last year. They got blessed with a great, phenomenal Panthers Giants, and this year they get the Falcons Colts, which might be worse.
Don't get me
What?
wrong. Steelers Vikings could be an interesting game. I just we're I'm not saying it's the first game ever in Ireland. There might have been another, but I can't
No, it
remember.
is.
Yeah,
It
okay,
is.
the first game ever in Ireland, and you're sending the Steelers over there. Like, just it's poor form. It's just it's gross misconduct. Like how dare you? Honestly,
That's how I felt when I saw the Falcons
those are my
got five
kinfolk.
primetime games. Like, who wants to watch the Falcons 5 times a year?
Well, it is
Mm.
similar because what I'm saying is it's immoral of the NFL to send the Steelers over there. But from your perspective, you could say the same about the Falcons, I guess.
Five primetime games just to watch a team barely score 10 points?
Yes, but you're talking about whether it's an interesting game. I'm saying that I'm saying fuck the Steelers. That's all I'm saying.
I'm also saying F the Falcons too.
I know you feel that way, but you're trying to be like, oh, it'd be boring to watch the Falcons. It may or may not be boring to watch the Steelers. I don't know. The Steelers are actually a phenomenally interesting. They've been a phenomenally interesting team to watch for years now because they make no goddamn sense. Like trying to be as neutral as I can about the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is not easy, but being as neutral as I can possibly be about the Steelers, the they're an extremely interesting team to watch because you have no idea what you're getting. You're probably going to get a team that's going to play down to its competition, and randomly, win games that it has no business winning, but then also lose games that they have no business losing, and they're always going to average out around like 8 or 9 wins every year. And while that fills me with dread, it's also like you just don't know what you're getting with the Steelers, which from a neutral fan perspective is interesting. Now, from a Steelers fan perspective, which I see King Bozo here in the chat, from a Steelers fan perspective, that's got to be frustrating. From a Bengals fan perspective, that's also frustrating because I want the Steelers to be like reliably bad, but they're not. They're
Yeah.
just like they're up and down constantly. You have no idea what's going on ever. Every time I
Yeah.
join, I'm talking about the Steelers. Well, you get in okay, so I hate the Steelers. Like, let's just be honest with you. But in this particular case, they have an interesting game. It's the first game ever in Dublin. This is the schedule release episode, so that's why we were talking about the Steelers. But yeah, happy
Yeah, I think that
Wednesday, King Bozo.
came out like a week ago almost.
Yeah, rivals. But also in this case, there's like an actual reason. Like the Steelers actually have a really interesting game. It's not just a rivalry thing. Who is the first game? Looks like the
Yeah.
Steelers' first game is against the Jets, which should be easier. But who's even the quarterback of the Jets this year?
Justin Fields.
Oh God, revenge game.
Yeah.
Revenge game.
But can we talk about the first game of the entire season? Who thought it would be a great idea to put the Cowboys on primetime to start the season against the Eagles?
I mean, the Eagles are. That's a really good game. What are you talking about?
For the Eagles, yes, it is.
I mean, they're
For
playing.
Dallas,
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, the Cowboys aren't like trash.
yeah, but would you rather watch an Eagles Cowboys or an Eagles Rams game right now?
Eagles Cowboys, no question. Why would I want to watch an Eagles Rams game? Why would I want to watch the
Devontae Adams,
Rams? Who cares about the Rams?
Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford versus Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown. Kyron Williams versus Saquon Barkley.
I mean, I
Great
guess
defense
I just
versus
I
great
don't know.
defense.
I don't like it, I don't see it working in New Orleans and not New Orleans. I don't see it working in New Orleans either. But I don't see it working in L.A. I don't. Those guys are all like ancient. Um, and
I hope you're right.
and the Eagles, they're like, you know, they're defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. I don't really, I'm not that interested in the Rams. Whereas like the Cowboys, I'm actually really interested because, you know, they got. I mean, they just got George Pickens. You know, it's like, what's going on with Dak? Is he the guy or not? And like, so like that's worth watching. Whereas like, you know, with Matthew Stafford's like, dude's old and already won a Super Bowl. Like, what else is there left for him to do?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, bro, the Cowboys suck and the Rams made the playoffs last year. So.
But that's the thing. Like the Rams made the playoffs, but the Rams weren't really that great. And the Cowboys, I don't. I think the Cowboys are going to be better than they were last year. I'm not saying that they're going to be great. You know, I'm not saying anything like that. But I don't think that they're, you know, being. I don't think their record last year is going to reflect their record this year, and I don't think their record last year really quite reflected the talent that they have on their team. So, I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. Is I think that Cowboys Eagles is perfectly fine. It's not maybe not the best possible opening game, but I think it's a perfectly fine opening game. Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Justin fails. My prediction for you guys is 8-9. Well, you know what, King Bozo, we can't get if this shit with Trey Hendrickson keeps going down, then you're not gonna be wrong. Okay, I'm just look. I will save because we were talking about the schedule. I'm not the only one who has things to say about things, but we're gonna save that till later. Okay. Uh, Okay. Anyway. All right, so who based off of this, we know obviously who like strength of schedule wise has the easiest schedule, but based off of the way that these games are distributed, who do you think has got it the easiest? Because that was kind of like the like the thumbnail and kind of more or less what the title of the video is. So like, you know, who got it the easiest?
Well, all right. So who got it the easiest? So look, I'm not gonna act like I've seen every single team schedule, and yeah, I know you have it up here, but I'm not gonna lie, that is extremely small. So yeah. But one thing or one team that I think really got the easiest from what I saw was, let me see if I can find them. Bro, hold up. One team that I feel like was up there for, a pretty good schedule
Mm-hmm.
was the New England Patriots.
Yeah. The only thing with considering the Patriots as having an easy schedule is they're also the Patriots. Like having an easy schedule only really matters if you yourself are not part of other teams' easy schedule.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but it's like the Patriots. I feel like will be a better team than they were last year.
Maybe.
With Drake May coming to his second year, and you got guys in free agency like Milton Williams, Stephon Diggs. Whether the jury's still out on if Diggs is good or not. The jury's still out on that one. But the Patriots, I feel like they went I think 4-13 last year. I won't be 1,000% shocked if they wind up winning 7 games due to the easy schedule. Now, the thing is, obviously the Patriots. Do I have them in the playoffs yet? No, they still got a few more steps to climb. It's about baby steps right now. I just don't think that the Patriots, compared to other teams, I think the Patriots, because like they were one of the few teams that have checked out,
Mm-hmm.
and like the Patriots, like you got the Raiders to start the season, you got the Dolphins division games, always a 50-50 shot. You got the Steelers after that at home. Like you got you got four home games. You got four like you got three home games in your first 4 weeks. Like that's if you
Mm-hmm.
can even win two of those, I think you're looking at a pretty good shot. And then you have a 3-game road trip between the Panthers, Bills, and Saints. Like I said, Dolphins divisional games. Even though the Bills are right now the standard of the East, anything can happen. Even the Patriots have beat the Patriots beat the Bills before when the Bills were still great and the Patriots weren't. We've seen it before. So like then you're also at the Saints, but everybody beats the Saints in New Orleans, so that's not really a factor now, is it? Okay, but yeah, and then you got home games against the Browns and the Falcons. Browns, what are they gonna do? I don't know. Who's their starting quarterback? I don't know. And the Falcons are the Falcons, and then you're at Tampa, but then you host the Jets. So then it's flip flops at Tampa, hosting the Jets, at the Bengals, hosting the Giants, and then you got a late bye, which kind of sucks depending on which state you're in. But then you end the season with home, road, road, home, and two of those games are divisional games. So if you can win one of those, like even one of those, who knows? The Patriots might be looking at maybe 9, 10 wins this year.
I I don't think so.
I'm saying
But
like I think their ceiling could be like 9, 10 wins.
yeah,
I'm not. That's not my prediction.
yeah.
I'm just getting that right now.
I'm not
Not
gonna
my prediction.
I'm not gonna spend too long analyzing your thought process about their potential number of wins because we'll have like a predictions episode at some point too and but I'll just say like I don't know like I know the Patriots schedule looks easy. I don't see it, not with a new head coach. Not with
I mean, is he really new though?
what.
Is he really new though? Yeah, he's new to that team, but I
Yeah, he's
mean,
new to
he
that
went
team.
to that team
I
before.
mean, he's had experience as the Titans head coach. Frankly, I don't think he did that great of a job with the Titans. Like, I think
No,
he
I think he did a
at
great job for
first.
sure.
Well, I think at first he did a good job with the Titans, but I think he kind of like he had a good thing like going, and he just completely like fumbled it. He let it slip through his hands. I think, like frankly, I think Mike Vrabel is a bit overrated as a head coach, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not saying he's bad, but considering he gets talked up as like one of the best coaches in the NFL, I think that's a little silly. Like, he had like, you know, like Ryan Tannehill, if you're considering him, it was what he was, which was a serviceable quarterback. You had him, you had Derek Henry in his fucking prime, and then you had that defensive line that they had, and a host of other players kind of here and there on various different spots. Like the Titans should have been more consistently good than they were, like during that window of time, and I feel like Mike Vrabel, like I think he gets a lot of attention because of his name, because he was a great NFL player and he did have a really good start with the Titans. The evidence that I've seen is that like he's nothing special, and yeah, he's got Drake May, but what else they got going on there in New England?
All right.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And they certainly do have an easy schedule. But again, when you're part of the reason that other teams are considering themselves to have an easy schedule, then that's I don't know if I really care whether you have an easy schedule or not. I don't like the Giants, who by the way, I don't know who the Giants fucking hurt, but not only do the Giants have the most difficult strength of schedule in the NFL this year, but the way it's distributed is just punishing. Like, I mean, I don't like the New York Giants, um, because I'm
Neither
I'm a
do I.
because I'm a petty asshole. It's 100% because of Eli Manning.
Oh, Eli Manning.
It's
Yeah, that makes
100% because of Eli Manning, and he's not even on the team anymore. So I have no reason to actually dislike the Giants. I just I'm petty. But I do like. Didn't they cut Tommy DeVito?
No,
Oh,
they
they didn't.
resigned him.
Oh, they resigned. Okay, well maybe I don't know. Maybe I might have to change my opinion because I cannot get like my cousin-in-law just sent the most Italian accent of all time. Just randomly dropping while I'm over at his house watching the playoffs. Just randomly dropping Tommy cutlets on me was just I just couldn't. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life. Hey, they're putting Tommy cutlets out there. Oh my god. And this dude's name is Luigi. I fucking love him. He's my favorite
Kyle,
person on the planet.
Do you remember the first team that shut Tommy DeVito down during his Cinderella run? You remember the first team to do that?
I don't, but I can, based on your tone, I can guess.
It was the Saints, and I went to that game and we destroyed Tommy DeVito to the point where he literally had to sit himself down. To be fair, we gave him a concussion, but he still got destroyed when he played the whole game.
You have been a lot of my streams, King Bozo. I appreciate your loyalty. And
I've been listening.
I think we can all agree that Atlanta sucks. And I think Mikey certainly will not.
King Bozo, man, I wish I could just shake your hand right now.
There you go. The Falcons have a pretty mid schedule. So there's nothing based off of the schedule. There's nothing here, and they have a lot of primetime games. Like, why does Atlanta have so many damn primetime games?
What did they do last year to deserve 5 primetime games? They only won 3 more games than we did, and they didn't do anything in the offseason either.
What is your definition of a primetime game?
A primetime teams that deserve the amount of primetime. Now, I'm not saying Atlanta does not deserve primetime games because, like, Bijan Robinson and Michael Penix, people might be interested in that.
Yeah.
But 5 times.
Yeah, no.
You see here.
My question though is, what is your definition of a primetime game? Because I would argue they have 6 primetime games.
That I think a primetime game really is really played at night because that's like when you're,
Yeah.
I think it's really like when you're playing at night because that's really when you're when you're dead in the morning or dead at night.
I mean, I guess by the literal definition of what primetime means, that would be right. But when I think primetime game and what that actually means to the players who are on the field, I basically think a game that is put on a huge, worldwide stage. It's the only game anybody's watching at that time. And the parameters are such that it kind of throws the whole rest of the week's cadence off. So for me, I would say that their game in Germany is, while it may not be in a primetime slot, it is functionally the same as a primetime game.
Yeah,
we'll get to that, King Bozo. We'll get to that.
Why do they have... you see, what did Atlanta do last year to warrant 6 primetime games in your case? What did they do this offseason to warrant 6 primetime games? If we can't even get a Thursday night game, why is Atlanta getting 6 primetime games when Atlanta only won 3 more games than we did last year, and they did nothing this past offseason?
Okay. I have some thoughts about that, so we will get into that.
You need to be fired, sir.
I want to point out one more takeaway though that I have from this schedule, and it's that first of all, I understand strength of schedule wise, it's not the it's not the easiest schedule of all time, but it's still boy. They really just I think the NFL just desperately wants the Bills to win a Super Bowl. Have you seen their schedule? They start out week 1.
I only did a deep dive of the Ravens schedule so far, to be honest with you.
Well, week 1 they play the Ravens, so I mean that one will be challenging. But after week 1 against the Ravens, and then they have a game against the Chiefs, but I'm pretty sure that's in Buffalo, first of all, and it's also in the middle of the season. They've got an early bye, which is like early but a mid bye, so like personally I think it kind of sucks when teams get like really late buys, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll have a lot of injuries pile up, and then the bye week late in the season, it almost kind of seems like kind of pointless, because you're not, like guys who are already hurt, the extra rest isn't going to help them out that much. um, I usually find it's a little better when it's kind of like early mid, like it is here for the Bills. Like I think that's might be either week 6 or 7. But after the Ravens, they play Jets, Dolphins, Saints, sorry, Patriots, who we just talked about, the Falcons, Panthers, and then they got the Chiefs. Okay, but then Dolphins, and then we'll see what happens with the Buccaneers, and we'll also, frankly, see what happens with Houston. The Steelers, the Bengals, which I have no idea what we're doing right now. But like look at the way they end the season. Like it's Philadelphia in week 16, but surrounding that is the Patriots, Browns, and Jets. Like those are the 3 of their last 4 games of the season, and so if they're in the middle of a playoff push at that point, those are just like wins you can just stack and stack and stack.
Well, Kyle, you know what I noticed?
What?
Most of their tough games are at home. Because like
So
the Ravens,
there's another good point.
The Ravens are at home, so you're gonna have your home crowd with you. The Ravens are at home. The Dolphins, like so, divisional games, they're at home. Who else do we got here?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs are at home. The Buccaneers are at home.
And
the
very difficult to play Cincinnati Bengals.
What is that?
The very difficult to play and going to be a juggernaut this year, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals are at home. The Eagles are at home. The only team that made the playoffs last year that they're playing on the road is the Texans and the Steelers.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think the Steelers made the playoffs by default last year, so.
So, like, bro, they literally have all their tough opponents at home. Like, the Bills, if they don't win 13 games, that season's a disappointment.
Yeah.
And I'm being generous if we're just saying 13. They really should win, like, 15 games. That schedule.
Ryan, we're going to get to the Bengals schedule next, but I do want to finish up with what I'm talking about with the Bills schedule, which is, like I really think the NFL is just trying to shove the Bills down our throats at this point, because like the Bills are like they've kind of been billed as like as like the good guy team who's like the lovable underdogs and et cetera, et cetera. That I think the NFL was kind of hoping the Bengals could become, but then Eli Apple ran his mouth. But like the Bills are like kind of feel like they're the NFL's like darling child that they're just trying to force to get them a ring right now. And based off of the schedule, like my God, like the Bills' strength of schedule is like it's pretty low for a team that's as good as they are. First of all, but it's also not the easiest in the NFL. But based off of the way that they organize the schedule, it might as well be.
Yeah. The Bills, I don't know who they paid. They had to kiss somebody's feet or something for this, because this was not cheap. How do you only have 2 teams that made the playoffs last season? They gotta go on the road, and it's not just that. It's like, bro, like I don't even know. Like the Bills don't even have that much primetime games either. Like they don't even. They have the Patriots games are prime time, the Dolphins games are prime time, Ravens is a prime time.
Well, they got 5 primetime games.
Yeah, well,
I mean that's not like an overload by any means, but I mean like who's even got the most primetime games? Like the Lions have quite a few, but even then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I mean they got like 7. The Bills have 5. I mean they're definitely like insisting on the Bills.
Yeah, I mean the Bills are crazy. I mean, man, Kyle, I have a question. Since your Bengals had a Sunday night football game last year, how does that feel?
Wait, what? Okay, sorry. Ask that again.
what's the feeling of watching your team on a Sunday night? Because I don't know the feeling. What's the feeling?
Well, it's a very different feeling now than it used to be. For years, it was like, oh God, we're gonna lose because that was just what the Bengals did on Sunday Night Football. But lately, with Joe Burrow, it's just kind of nice.
Okay, so should the Saints try that?
No,
Okay.
no, they should
try.
not. But yeah. So okay, so Ryan asked about the Bengals schedule, and I want to do that. And then we can get to the Saints schedule.
Okay.
But first, he said can't tell whether this is an easy schedule, easy season for us, or trap games. Okay, so here's my perspective. The Bengals, kind of like the Bills, the Bengals got a softball of a schedule, right? Like, I mean, our actual like we're kind of on the upper end, but still right about the middle as far as strength of schedule goes. But it's not really like honestly, strength of schedule is kind of like a fake thing anyway because it's all based off of last year's records. But as far as the way that the schedule is like formed, like who you're playing and when, like for us, I found out week 1 we're playing the Browns. Week 2 we're playing the Jaguars at home. So, holy crap! If we start 0-2 again, I'm gonna riot. That's all I have to say. And
yeah, I mean,
and also, holy crap! The I wasn't panicking about Trey Hendrickson for the longest time because like I was like it's just a bunch of bluster, et cetera, whatever. But the way it's going down right now is just fucking disgusting. I am so unbelievably disappointed in the Bengals' inability to value some. It's like in some cases players try to play up these negotiations and and they're making a bigger deal out of it than it really is because for the sake of negotiations, and sometimes that's what's going on. But the fact that this has been a consistent problem for the Bengals for like ever since Katie Blackburn kind of started taking the team over from Mike Brown back around like 2014 2015, this has been a consistent problem with some of the best players on the team, like Andrew Whitworth. They screwed that guy the way they were trying to negotiate him. It was insulting. And then that guy goes on and wins a Super Bowl with the Rams. Jesse Bates, not going to win a Super Bowl with the Falcons, but he's still playing amazing for the Falcons, and our secondary is a fucking nightmare. And now they're doing the same thing with Trey Hendrickson. Like, are you kidding? I know Trey Hendrickson is 29. Okay, he's not getting any younger, and how much longer is he going to be playing at this level? I understand that, but like I've done the math. Okay, you're already going to be paying him $19 million this year as far as the salary cap goes. If you have to pay him $31 million, if you have to pay him $40 million, if you have to like go all the way out and pay him $40 million, you've got the money for it. You're not bringing in any other free agents, so you're not using that money for anything. Invest in your goddamn team, Bengals. Like, good God, like I love my team. Don't get me wrong, but I hate our front office sometimes. Like they have no clue how to actually make the most of the good thing that's right fucking in front of them.
Yeah.
But point being, the Bengals have a softball of a schedule thrown at them. Like, it's not like strength of schedule wise, whatever, but the way everything's kind of organized, the Bengals should be able to take advantage of this schedule this year. And if they fuck it up because they can't pay Trey goddamn Hendrickson, then I don't know how to proceed from that point. Like, just from a team building perspective, like how can I trust the Bengals at that point to do anything right if they can't? Like, it's a fucking softball, you know? Like, the only reason they paid T. Higgins is because Jamar Chase basically demanded it. Like, it's God, they're the cheapest fucking tight ass fucking money grubbing. But yeah, anyway, Ryan, to answer your question, yeah, like I wouldn't say trap games because like the games are the two games at the beginning of the season should be softballs, and then it kind of ramps up from there. And to some extent, like if that was in the middle of the season, I could see trap games. But the fact that it's at the first two games of the season, I don't really see that being trappy. And then the final two games of the season are the Cardinals and the Browns. So it feels like the opposite of a trap type of season to me. It feels like it should be easy, which means they're gonna fuck it up.
Been there.
I've watched the whole entire Trey video, and I gotta say it's frustrating how the front office, like, yeah, I don't understand. God, like, I will never stop being a Bengals fan as long as they stay in Cincinnati. Like it's like all bets are off if they move, but as long as the Bengals are in Cincinnati, I can't not be a Bengals fan. It's just I don't have the ability to not be a Bengals fan. But god damn, this front office makes me want to. Like, I'm not. I wouldn't do that, and it's not like a moralistic thing. It's because I don't think I'm physically capable of doing that. Like I'm a Bengals fan. That's the team I grew up with. I don't have a choice. But goddamn, like the way this front office acts sometimes makes me not want to be a Bengals fan.
Yep. I feel that with Mickey Loomis every single day of my life.
Right, exactly. So, but okay, so I got my rant out about the Bengals. So I want to talk about the Saints' schedule. Y'all got no primetime games. I understand that. But boy, did y'all get just like y'all have. I was talking about the Bengals having a softball schedule, but like y'all like it's like they put you guys on like easy mode on Madden. Like, are you playing anybody other than like the Buccaneers?
The Bills.
Okay, yeah, I guess the Bills. That's an early in the season game too, though. Like, I mean, and I guess the Rams, depending on how you feel about the Rams, but like the whole rest of the schedule would just like, like there's no reason that a team with even a halfway decent roster shouldn't be able to win at least 8 or 9 games, right? It's almost like it's almost like a team that doesn't just have a gigantic glaring hole at the most important position in football. Let's say a lot of teams have maybe even an average quarterback who may or may not have one time been in the race for the MVP discussion. And all they wouldn't need said quarterback to be at his absolute best just to go out there and play football, So,
Right.
I'm just saying, like you guys got handed one of the easiest schedules I've ever seen.
We got Tyler Shuck at the quarterback because some dude decided,
Yeah, and that's the deal. You have one of the easiest schedules I've ever seen, and you have no quarterback.
Yeah, talk about it now.
Yeah, go ahead. King Bozo, and yeah, I think just King Bozo. But I'm sure whoever's watching wants to hear your thoughts about the Derek Carr situation. Who I will for anybody who's been living under a rock, randomly fucking retired after basically just acting like an asshole off season. So, Mikey, tell us how you feel about that.
Well, first, Derek Carr, I want to say thank you for retiring. I'm telling you, this man was the worst quarterback. And then we got Mickey Loomis as the GM who keeps on going to bat for Derek Carr. Mickey Loomis, you are dumber than a toenail. I don't know what your obsession is with Derek Carr. Like, on a serious note, though, Derek Carr, look, I think a lot of people people who say he's the worst Saints quarterback of all time, that's not that couldn't be further from the truth. But what you could make an argument for, the worst free agent signing in Saints history. Because
I definitely think it could be further from the truth. The furthest from the worst quarterback in Saints history is Drew Brees, and Derek Carr is no Drew Brees.
Well, no duh. Well, no duh. But it's like I'm talking about like quarterbacks that are like at the bottom, which Derek Carr honestly might find himself eventually. But well, not anymore because he retired. But Derek Carr was a guy that was just so like he took no accountability. You know, he just everything. It was either his way or the highway. He brought over Foster Moreau. He tried to recruit Devontae Adams, but we all knew Adams didn't want to come here. Derek Carr thought this was Vegas, and then every single time he had a press conference, he would talk about the Raiders. Buddy, you ain't with the Raiders no more. I don't know what. Man, get the Raiders off your brain right now. You ain't with the Raiders. But then Derek Carr's like, you know what? I'm actually going to play football. And in 2023, what did this man do? Stink up the bed. Gets mad at Chris Olave because he threw the ball out of bounds, and then gets mad at Chris Olave for giving up on his route. And then the last 5 games or so, now you want to start being like an actual quarterback. And then, look, I understand the Saints didn't bring him here to be our franchise guy. But when you are getting paid the money you're getting paid, you gotta show something. You gotta give us something to work with. Like I tried. I actually wanted the Saints to sign Derek Carr. When the Raiders released him, I was like, please, Saints, go get Derek Carr. I think he could help this quarterback situation. And boy, that man listened to me and he spit in my face quicker than you could say double. Like 2023 was a year where it was up and down, no consistency. And you want to say the 2025 schedule was easy? Go look at the 2024 or the 2023 schedule. Boy, I don't even think we played one playoff. I don't think I think we played maybe 3 playoff teams that entire year, and most of them barely got into the playoffs. We didn't play no juggernauts in 2023. It's like we played the Lions. That I think was our toughest game back then, like that year. Like, we played the Colts. We played the Bears with no Justin Fields. We played the Colts with no Anthony Richardson. We played the, y'all know. Kyle has it up right now. But it's like, come on. What'd you say?
I don't, actually.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's what you were pulling up. My bad.
I am, but I haven't got it up yet.
Well, like, you know, we played the Titans. Like, it was an easy schedule, and we could only win 9 games out of that with Derek Carr, who played all 17 games. Like, this man retired, which saves us $30 million in cap space, so we can actually sign some people next year. You know, it just gets to the point where I'm frustrated, man. Like, Drew Brees, like, ever since he retired, the Saints have just had a glimpse of things to work like. With the Saints, if you would have told the Saints after Drew Brees retired that, hey, you would have a winning record out of the next 4 years, Saints fans would be like, okay, we probably draft the franchise guy in the upcoming draft. Instead, what do? You take Peyton Turner. So then it's like, oh, shoot, we can't draft worth a damn, so we better find our quarterback through free agency. So we rushed and signed Derek Carr for 4 years just to get 2 years out of him. Boy, and then he retires after the draft, too, which is the biggest kicker in all this. We could have drafted Shador Sanders at 9 overall. We could have drafted a quarterback 9 overall.
All right. So hold on. Let's pause a little bit. Shador Sanders went in the 5th round. So like, retrospectively, if we're talking about you could have drafted Shador at 9 overall. I think retrospectively, knowing what we know now, that would have been a horrible decision.
I don't care.
You could have gotten him in the 4th round.
Honestly, I didn't think I would say this. I would have rather us take Jackson Dart over Derek Carr.
Well,
but okay.
Not at the spot where Jackson Dart did get picked.
Well, like, okay, so let's take into account if the Saints never signed Derek Carr, boy, we could have had Jaden Daniels on this team. We could have had Caleb Williams on this team. The Saints should have just blew it all up. I mean, bit by bit. You see, this was the Saints' problem. This was their problem, and I'm going to tell you this right now. From a fan that will live with the team and die with the team, this is what happened. The Saints, when When Sean Payton left, the Saints, when they hired Dennis Allen, which I'm gonna get to in a minute, just be patient with me. When the Saints hired Dennis Allen, their biggest goal was to bring back what once was, instead of thinking what will bring us to what will be. And that was the problem. They kept on trying to be the old Saints. They try to make Michael Thomas great again. They try to make Alvin Kamara great again. They try to make Tre'Quan Smith good. They try to make Juwan Johnson great. Like they try to do all the stuff that was from the Sean Payton era instead of just knocking it out. And now here's the big kicker that I briefly mentioned. When the Saints hired Dennis Allen, his quarterback was James Winston and Andy Dalton. But then the year after that, guess what happened? Derek Carr gets released by the Raiders, right? Well, Dennis Allen's like, wait, I drafted Derek Carr. Even though Derek Carr got you fired the first time, I'm going to call up Derek Carr and sign him again. And I'm not trying to excuse Dennis Allen. That's not what I'm here to do. Dennis Allen was dog water. He was dog water. He was dookie. Apologizing to your rivals and shit. He was dookie. But Derek Carr definitely didn't make. Like the Saints are 2-0 last year, bro. I was ready to friggin' make a statue of Derek Carr. Derek Carr looked like okay, that's what we paid for. And then the 7 weeks after that were just pain and misery. To the point where I actually wanted Derek Carr cut. Which, look, Derek Carr, I wish you the best in your retired life. And you definitely did. You definitely were better than your brother David. I'll say that. But as of 2025, you are not welcome in New Orleans because you didn't embrace us, so we don't embrace you. Anyways, that's the rant of the day. What are we talking about next?
Well, I actually kind of want to stay a little bit on Derek Carr because you said Derek Carr got Dennis Allen fired. Like how do you I don't think that's accurate. Why do you say that?
No, I didn't say Derek Carr got Dennis Allen fired. I said when you signed Derek Carr to save your job, that's where you went wrong.
I suppose, but you did literally say that Derek Carr got Dennis Allen fired.
Well, that's not what I meant, bro. That's not. Look, Kyle, you know how much I hate Dennis Allen. Like that's not. That's not what I meant. What I meant by saying that was that when you're in a predicament that Dennis Allen was in, your goal would have been like, okay, I got to draft a quarterback. Instead, what you did was sign Derek Carr. That ended your career right there. Like Dennis Allen was a dog water head coach. So why are you signing a mid quarterback to save your job?
I'll also say I don't think it was Derek Carr's fault that the Saints weren't winning games because
I think absolutely was his fault.
But this man in 2023 threw 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 2024 threw 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Did you watch those games, Kyle?
Yeah, I watched those. Yeah, I watched those games. He looked like he was roughly performing it. Like it reminded me a lot of watching Andy Dalton with the Bengals. I don't think that those games were was Derek Carr out there being the reason why you're gonna win a lot of football games? Not necessarily, but he was giving you enough that the frankly the mess that was the New Orleans Saints, like Dennis Allen's the reason you guys were losing football games.
I understand that, but being a check down Charlie does not help. Getting 25 touchdowns because Kamara catches passes, that don't help. Getting maybe 12 touchdowns the first half of the season and then another 12 the second half,
But if Alvin Kamara is getting touchdowns and you keep feeding Alvin Kamara, part of the quarterback's job is to be the field general. It's not necessarily to be the hero. It's to be the guy who gets the job done.
I understand that too, but also let me tell you this. How much times were you watching the Saints and they had to make a fourth quarter comeback to even be close?
I mean, I suppose, but I don't. I don't know if that was all Derek Carr's fault, though.
Well, dang it, when you're throwing the ball to double team, you're throwing the ball out of bounds, getting mad at Chris Olave for giving up on his route.
No, I mean,
Dang it,
he definitely had issues, and I agree with you about the lack of accountability. I'm just saying, like, I don't think Drew Brees in his prime would have been taking those Saints teams to like the Super Bowl.
Okay,
I mean, maybe
Derek Carr,
the playoffs for sure. At least,
exactly, and you know what?
at least the 23
Derek Carr
team. I don't know about the 24 team.
I'm not gonna lie. If the Saints have a fully healthy 2024 team with the prime Drew Brees, the Saints are winning 12 games.
Well, okay, maybe, but we're not talking about a fully healthy. Like it's not Derek Carr's fault that people got hurt.
I understand it. Look, I understand where you're coming from, but you gotta look at it from my perspective too. The amount of times that he threw his teammates under the bus, the amount of times he literally had a fight on the field, and I'm not just making stuff up. You can go look at it. Eric McCoy was screaming at Derek Carr. And
Yeah, no,
he
I
can
mean,
deny it all he wants.
I agree. The Saints are better off without Derek Carr. I'm just saying, like, I think as far as like, I think he was good enough if you put the right team around him to win more games than the Saints did.
Boy, he wasn't good enough for the Raiders. So what makes you think he's gonna be good enough here?
That's not true. He was certainly good enough for the Raiders. He was just tired of like losing his entire career to the Raiders. Like he wanted out. It wasn't the other way around.
Look, I understand. Look, I'm not trying to say that Derek Carr was the entire reason, even though that's what people may think. Because look, I'm passionate about this team, and when I don't see a quarterback I like, I will call him out on his BS. But like Derek Carr, he did not help the problem, and that's the thing. He was supposed to come here to help us. He wasn't supposed to be our franchise guy that would have for 15 years. He was the guy that was supposed to at least take us to the playoffs. Did he do that? No. In 2023, what was everybody talking about? Well, most people. Saints should win the division. Saints should be good. Saints should at least win 9 to 10 games. We won 9 games, but guess what? We lost the games that mattered. And the fact that we won 9 games was concerning because of the schedule we had.
Wait, okay, so let's rewind a second. Who was saying the Saints should win the division either of Derek Carr's years? What year was that?
2023.
Oh, well, maybe. I guess because that's the first year without Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
And
so
also,
I definitely think people were saying the Saints have an opportunity, but I don't. I don't know. It seems maybe a bunch of Saints fans were saying the Saints should have won the division, but I don't know if a whole lot of
even Pat McAfee said it.
Pat McAfee says a lot of crazy shit.
Well, Pat McAfee was on the show and he was like, "The Saints are going to win the NFC South." What are we even talking about? Because he saw a preseason drive from Derek Carr.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, perhaps it's just, like my Baker Mayfield bias, but I thought it was pretty clear that the Buccaneers were going to continue winning that division.
Bro, I had the Bucs winning 3 games that year.
Well, they didn't.
Well, I thought Baker Mayfield was going to suck. I didn't know he was going to be the next Tom Brady.
But well, first of all, he wasn't the next Tom Brady. But second of all, like, yeah, when he left Cleveland, like, first of all, he was a pretty solid quarterback in Cleveland. Like, he was immature, and that's what led to them wanting to get rid of him. And he got hurt, and then he went to Carolina, and at that point, I think people were starting to write him off, like, oh, well, this guy clearly isn't actually any good. But then when he went to the Rams, he played pretty well, and I think he kind of showed, like, hey, don't write me off just yet. So when he went to the Buccaneers in a good situation, surrounded by a lot of talent, me personally, I didn't see any reason to think anything other than this guy's going to have a resurgence.
Well, I don't know. I saw some OTA throws where Baker Mayfield was darting those balls like he was just trying to spike the balls, and it was going through. So I'm like, bro, this man's actually trash now. Look, I like Baker. Even when he went to Tampa, I liked Baker. I actually wanted the Saints to sign Baker at one point. But it's like, bro,
you're trying
I
to.
saw those OTA guys, and I was like, okay, I'm good with Derek Carr. Turns out I'm not good with Derek Carr.
Okay, so I have two thoughts. My first thought is you should never ever judge what a player's season is going to look like because of what they did in OTAs. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Second of all, why in the absolute fuck do the Jaguars have more primetime games than you guys?
Because people hate the Saints.
Like, y'all and the Titans have zero. I get the Titans, and I'm not gonna lie. I know you're not gonna like hearing this. I kind of get the Saints, but what I don't get is the Jaguars getting primetime games, and the Saints not. I mean, I guess also to be fair, like where's the market for the Saints? Like, you're gonna like you're thinking like, oh, I want us to be on primetime so I can see my favorite team. The NFL's thinking the Saints have no marketability. Like who is on the Saints right now who's interesting at all? Like not from a fan perspective, not from like who's gonna potentially develop into something, but in terms of like who's gonna draw people's attention. Nobody.
Kellen Moore, maybe.
No. Like your best player is Alvin Kamara, who like 99% of casual NFL players, NFL fans, like don't ever think about ever.
Yeah.
Like you could maybe argue Spencer Rattler, but I feel like your marketability window with him ended after his rookie year.
Rattler might not even start this year.
Well, I mean that's the other thing. Like he might not. I mean if it's what Shuck, is it Shuck or Shook?
It's Shuck.
Shuck. Okay, so if it's Shuck, then literally, I promise you, there will be a negative number of people who care about that game, which includes all the Saints fans who will care about that game because it's a Saints game. That's how little everybody else in the entire world will care.
Yeah, I know. So, trust me.
That's why you guys got. That's why you guys got no primetime games.
But trust me, I'm not mad at the NFL. I'm just disappointed in my own team. I'm not mad at the NFL. Don't get me twisted. Like sometimes I don't even want to wake up and watch Saints games. Whenever I see Saints games on, I just want to go right to bed. But I might as well stream, right?
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at the NFL for not giving us primetime games that we don't deserve. What my problem with the Saints, not the NFL, keywords, my problem with the Saints is that they could have avoided all of this if they would have just drafted a quarterback instead of signing Derek Carr.
The fucking Browns
have more primetime games than the Saints.
Well, I mean, they only got one, but yes, they got more primetime games than the Saints, but they got a primetime game. Now, again, it's a London game. It's not primetime by definition, but it is on the international stage. And the Browns are frankly, who are the Browns trotting out at quarterback? Like, yeah, they've got some notable names like Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, but are either of those guys even going to be starting? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess maybe by week 5 they're playing the Giants, not the Giants, the Vikings. Maybe by week 5 Shedeur gets in there. But it doesn't feel like they're planning on Shedeur being the guy like week 1, which is gonna be interesting because they play us week 1. So I mean, like who are we even going to see? Because like Deshaun's out for the year.
Yeah, it sucks that people are more interested in Deshaun Watson than Tyler Shuck.
Well, I think there's multiple reasons for that. Like, I don't think like I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I barely know who Tyler Shuck is. Like to the point where like
I know everything about Tyler Shuck. I know when he was born. I know where he ate his first meal. I know where he lived. That last one kind of concerns me, but the rest of that I'm not terribly surprised about because you're a Saints fan. But I can tell you as somebody who's not a Saints fan, I
barely know who Tyler Shuck is, and I follow the draft.
Tyler Shuck's the GOAT.
That remains to be seen.
He's 25-year-old rookie.
Was he a second round pick?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so was Drew Brees.
Yes.
So there's your connection.
You see, because Tyler Shuck, right? People keep playing that one awful throw he had at the combine to say, "Oh, the thing's got one with this Tyler Shuck guy." But y'all don't know what this man. Y'all taking that out of context. Tyler Shuck said he wanted to do some stuff that he never did before.
You know who, in addition to Drew Brees, a Saints legend who, in addition to Drew Brees, was also a second round pick?
Michael Thomas.
Derek Carr.
No!
Jalen Milroe.
First of all, it was third round pick, and I would throw this cup at you so fast. Bruh. You're testing my patience.
Who would you rather have a quarterback next year? Assuming so Jalen Milroe or a surprise unretirement of Derek Carr?
Death, taxes, and more death.
Death. Okay. You're 16. You don't even pay taxes.
Well, dang, I'm gonna pay taxes eventually. Hey, it's 2028 somewhere.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
in
not.
some alternate reality, it's 2028.
Okay, well, I'm sure. Now that you've thought about it, I guess it does exist. But oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about all the time. I think we're just kind of like winding into like bullshit at this point. So, you got anything else you want to say?
Derek Carr, if you even take 1 foot into the Saints facility, I will come over to your house and I will cut your toenails.
That went in a direction that I don't know if I can legally condone, but I'm also not sure that I can't. So, but I also know that I don't want to. So I'm gonna land on that one.
Yeah, you do that.
All right. Well, that's all I have left to say. I will reiterate that the Bengals front office is disgusting, and I hate them. And it would be one thing if this was like, oh, who knows if it's really Trey Hendrickson or the Bengals. But considering this happens all the fucking time with some of the most important players on the Bengals, and many of these players go on to have like nearly Hall of Fame level careers outside of the Bengals. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm kind of giving the benefit or the lack of benefit of the doubt to the Bengals front office right now, just given the history. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I can tell you that historically, the Bengals have always been the people who are being weirdly cheap about a player who still is really, really good and could have made some major contributions. Historically, that's what the Bengals front office has done. There's no evidence to believe that anything else is going to be happening in this situation. So it could be that Trey Hendrickson's being unreasonable, but considering history, there's no reason to believe that. And I'm just absolutely I'm not surprised, because I've been a Bengals fan for my whole life, and this is just what the Bengals fucking do. They're awful.
Trust me, the day the Bengals trade Joe Burrow to the Steelers, you're going to know that pain.
Well, they're not going to do that. Now, I'm not saying that they wouldn't. I actually, no, I don't think they would trade Joe Burrow at all. Because they didn't trade Carson Palmer. They made him retire. Actually, they did trade him. Never mind. They but only after only after the Raiders gave potentially 2 first-round picks for Carson Palmer, which was a stupid idea, by the way. That's the reason. I guarantee you that's the reason that Hugh Jackson got fired. That was a terrible idea. I don't know what they were thinking. But it worked out for us. And so that's an example of where it kind of worked out in the Bengals front office favor, but it's yet another example of the Bengals front office taking a player who, by the way, Carson Palmer did go on at the very end of his career to have a resurgence and end up, like playing not at a Hall of Fame level, but he took the Cardinals to the NFC Championship game. So I just the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results, and that's not actually the definition of insanity. But it's a colloquial phrase that it like for what it means, it actually makes a lot of sense. And the Bengals front office
came up with that.
Do what?
I think Albert Einstein came up with that.
That doesn't sound right, but maybe, I don't know. I don't feel like looking it up right now. But I just, if they didn't own the team, anybody on the planet would have gotten fired for doing this shit, for doing the same thing over and over and over. It'd be one thing if you could say like, oh, well, it's a strategy that served us well in the past, but it hasn't. This has never worked, ever. And maybe in a few situations you've saved a couple bucks on some players that you got re-signed, but every time you don't re-sign a player because of this strategy, they go on to have amazing careers elsewhere that could have made a big difference here. You tell me Jesse Bates last year wouldn't have gotten us to the playoffs? Wouldn't have been, with how bad our defense was, if you'd had Jesse Bates, maybe it would have been better enough to make the playoffs, and then who knows what happens from there, because you got Joe Burrow really kind of starting to come on, and you've also got the whole rest of the defense starting to play better. If the Bengals make the playoffs last year, they easily could have made a run. And Jesse Bates could have been the difference in any one of those games they lost.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be Trey Hendrickson going forward. I've seen some people being like, oh well, is Shamar Stewart the like the Bengals plan to succeed Trey Hendrickson? And that's gonna be the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm not saying it's not true, because the Bengals front office is that stupid, but he's not a pass rusher. He's a run stopper, and he's a bad tackler to boot. So like, considering Miles Murphy has yet to develop a really consistent pass rush game, Joseph Osai has also yet to develop a consistent pass rush game, and Trey Hendrickson has been leading the NFL, like at least at the top, like the entire time he's been here, he's been consistently among the top pass rushers in the entire NFL. You let that guy walk, you're stupid. Like, you're just frankly stupid for a defense that was, like, the worst in the NFL last year. Not because of Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was one of the best pass rushers in the NFL last year. But the defense was the worst defense in the NFL. And you're going to take that defense and you're going to make them worse by getting rid of their only star player?
Yes.
When you can afford him?
No.
I don't understand. It's 100%. It's 100%. I guarantee you. They're offering him as much money as he wants. It's not a money thing. It's a contract structure thing. The Bengals prefer contracts that are shorter in nature and allow the team more flexibility and less guarantees, less roster bonuses, etc. They don't mind paying guys high salaries for playing well. They just don't want to guarantee money for guys if they get hurt and stuff like that. And they do put guaranteed monies in there. They have roster bonuses and all sorts of things like that. But it's done in a way that's so unbelievably focused on the team's financial flexibility that I guess if it worked, you'd have to commend them for. But considering it doesn't work, at what point are you going to learn? Like, I understand you own the team. You can do what you want with the team. But, like, do you expect us to take you fucking seriously?
Yes.
Because, like, we don't. And we never will until you fucking learn the lesson ever. Like, it's just the most frustrating. It's like running on a hamster wheel. And I'm sure you get this. Like, the Saints and their ownership haven't exactly been great lately. But it's like running on a fucking hamster wheel,
Boy, our quarterback was tired.
I know. Yeah. Our quarterback we had a quarterback retire in the middle of his career on us, but then we traded him away to the Raiders, and he magically unretired.
Boy, our quarterback retired because of a whiny shoulder injury. Because he didn't want to do the surgery. But yeah, but I'll make a car review video. I just won't play football, man. Shut up.
You know, there are some episodes where I just really lament the fact that I don't have like saved videos of things that you've said in the past. Like I really wish that I had the time and also the mental desire to go back and watch some of those old videos where you were so excited about Derek Carr coming in. You're like, oh, Derek Carr is going to be the best, this, that, or whatever.
That was me.
Yeah. Now, granted, that was before we started doing a show together. So I'd have to go back and get comments. It wouldn't be videos, but still.
Well, you see, a lot of Saints fans, look, they don't want to admit it, but I'll be the first one to admit it. I was excited for Derek Carr. A lot of Saints fans were like, well, we knew what Derek Carr was. Boy, I was excited when we hired Dennis Allen, man. Bruh, younger me, I was excited about anything. But now I'm too depressed to be excited.
You got excited about Kellen Moore.
I said he was my number one choice. And he could maybe build something. But I was not excited for this season. Maybe the future, maybe. Depending on who we draft next year. Arch Manning, please. The Manning prophecy will be fulfilled.
To be fair, that's exactly like verbatim what I said about Zach Taylor when the Bengals hired him. It's like I'm not saying I'm excited. I'm just saying out of the pool that was available, that's the guy I wanted, and I think he could potentially build something. And then 2019 happened.
Going to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, no, that the Saints will go to the Super Bowl in 3 years. Once they draft a quarterback number 1 overall. So you'll have to bottom out first. And then you'll draft generational quarterback number 1 overall, get him hurt in his rookie year, but then go on a magic run in his second year.
2-15, here we come. At this point, I'm just embracing the tank. Man, I'm just going to get a shirt that says "Embrace the Tank" at this point.
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. If it wasn't for the fact that you guys have like just a completely, and I mean utterly, like to the point I've rarely seen schedules that are more of a cupcake schedule before. But y'all's schedule is for like an XFL team, frankly.
Bro, this isn't even the easiest schedule we've ever had. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like 2023, the schedule was cupcake. Like I'm telling you, the 2023 schedule was like a vanilla cake with chocolate and then the strawberry, like all the cupcakes.
Yeah.
Like we were playing backup quarterbacks, more backup quarterbacks, and we only won 9 games. That's just crazy.
All right. Well, like I said, I think it's about that pretty much wraps it up. So we'll be back. We'll be back next week. At some point, I don't know if it would make sense to do this next week, but at some point we should definitely do like a season predictions episode. Of where we, expect, or maybe you know what we should do, because I know we're gonna like go on rants and like get off topic and et cetera, and frankly I kind of like that about the podcast. I like the fact that it's kind of unstructured, and I think that's it may not be the best podcast like format of all time. Like I don't know how too many people who are gonna want to go through like while they're driving around in their car and listen to us just like not have any clue what we're talking about half the time. But it is good for like engagement on the chat. So I kind of like the way we do this. At least for now. In the future, maybe we'll try to be more professional. I don't know, but like I don't know, I'm having fun. So, but to get back to my point, I know us. We're gonna say we're gonna do every NFL team, and then we're just gonna spend too long talking about like 5 teams, and then not get to the rest of the teams. So let's do like a series of videos where we go like basically from now until the season starts. we'll do a series of like videos where we go through like each division and give our predictions about what we think each division's record's going to be.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way of doing that.
And then maybe like before the season, we can like give out like our Super Bowl, predictions and like if you know.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I don't know if we'll do a whole episode on Super Bowl predictions.
Oh my god, that would be like 5 minutes.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. I mean, like if because you're talking about a couple of different teams and different possibilities. I mean, you could stretch that forever.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like I said with us because we go on like random fucking tangents all the time.
Yeah.
Like
that's why they call me the Hurricane.
No, that's not why they call you the Hurricane.
That is why. That's literally the definition why.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because you like go nuts like over.
Exactly.
No, I said going on tangents.
Well,
like rabbit holes and stuff.
Well, to be fair, I was called Hurricane Mike ever since 2022. Well, first I was a tsunami, then I became Hurricane over time.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been called Hurricane Kyle ever since I just came up with the idea 5 seconds ago. And now I am no longer going to be known by that name because it's a dumb name.
Kyle, no offense, you couldn't, bro. You probably, I don't think your entire life you went on the amount of rampage that I've had over the past 4 years.
Okay. No offense, but no, I don't think that's accurate at all. I definitely don't. I'm definitely not as constantly, on the verge of emotion like you are, when it comes to like. But that's I think that's just the age difference. But I literally put a hole in my wall one time because the Bengals weren't blowing the Lions out by enough points. My wife's still pissed at me for that, but like it was I think the 21 season, the Bengals were beating the Lions by like multiple touchdowns, but I thought they should have been winning by way more, and I was concerned that they were going to let the Lions back into the game, and I just got so mad after a drive that I like a drive that should have ended in points but ended in a punt, even though we were up by like 17 points, and I threw my phone at the wall because I was just so fucking mad.
What? Man, bro, I broke a controller one time. 6 times. But nah, like it got fun. Do you remember the I don't know if you remember, but do you remember 2021 when the Saints played the Giants?
No.
Well, damn it. Pretend there's a drink in this. This was my little reaction after the Giants won. I got like maybe 2 or 3 cans. This is what I did. Threw it all on the ground.
Okay.
Like it's the point where you couldn't even walk on the floor.
It's fair. I still feel like breaking my wall is a little bit more intense than that. Like I'm sure you have more intense stories than that.
I did that too before.
Okay.
One time, man, bro, you if y'all didn't see it, bro, you should go to the Big Q's channel, man. Because there was the one time when the Saints played the Bengals and we lost, and let's just say I had no filter that day. I was pissed off.
Oh, I remember one time the strongest emotional reaction I ever had to a football game. I remember one time the Bengals had the Steelers beat in the playoffs. And then Vontez Burfict and Adam Pac-Man Jones just decided to be complete fucking morons and ruin it for us after Jeremy Hill fumbled. And I got so mad that I couldn't fucking I did the opposite of like big emotional blow up. I just got like really fucking quiet and I couldn't fucking process. Like I was so furious for like 2 months straight after that game. Like I've never been more mad, I think, at anything in my life than that 2015 playoff game against the Steelers. I was so, and I was, which sucks because I was having a good night with my friends. We got together. And like we were playing like we were playing cards and like like just having a good time and shit. Um, it looked like the Bengals were gonna win the game, and then Jeremy Hill fucking fumbled the ball. And to be honest, like as much as Vontez Burfict and Pac-Man Jones pissed me off for what they did, I knew it was over. The second Jeremy Hill fumbled the ball, I knew it was over, because it's just like, yeah, they had to march down the field, but I already knew it was coming. The Steelers were going to go down. All I needed is a field goal, and I knew the Bengals were going to give it up because that's what they do.
Man, one time I remember the Saints played the who was it? Hold on. It was recently too. The Saints played the Vikings. It was the Vikings. All right.
Okay.
And no, it's not the Miracle. It was the second time, right? When we were playing them in the playoffs. The second time we played them in the playoffs. The Saints were the better team. They were the 3 seed. Minnesota at the time, the 6 seed was the lowest you could get. They were the 6 seed. And I'm telling you, the Saints went down by 10 points. I took off my Drew Brees jersey and I threw that thing, not in the garbage, I threw it in the hamper. But I'm telling you, I started swinging the Drew Brees jersey on the floor. Like, I started banging it and shit. And then the Saints came back and I'm like, oh, shit. And then the Saints lost in overtime. And then I cried. The rest of the day, I just cried. And then I would see Kirk Cousins do the "you like that," and then I would cry some more.
And then he ended up on the Falcons, but he ended up being a joke on the Falcons. To be fair,
he did. He definitely was a first ballot Hall of Famer for the Saints.
Okay.
What Falcons say?
All right. So I keep saying this, but I think for real this time. That's it. We'll catch y'all next week, and like I said, I think going forward, we're going to be just kind of going through the different divisions and predicting what we think the records are going to be and who's going to be doing what. Now that we got the draft out of the way, now that we're into training camps, I think we can go ahead and start making some predictions with some level of like realness to it, right?
I thought Joe Burrow retires.
You shut your fucking mouth, right?
Hey, my quarterback retired too, so we can build.
Okay. Your quarterback was Derek Carr. So you shut the fuck up, okay?
Our quarterback was stupid. You right.
Like there's a difference. Like you guys, like Derek Carr retiring is like it's annoying that he waited until after the draft to do it. But you could also make the argument that maybe the Saints are better off. Like maybe not this year, but going forward, you could definitely make the argument the Saints are better off if Derek Carr just ripped the Band-Aid off and you don't have to deal with his ass anymore. But if Joe Burrow retires, I might retire. Like, I'm joking. I'm joking, but I would just be inconsolably furious with the Bengals for ruining. Like Joe Burrow is a godsend for our franchise, and if we fuck that up, then I don't know if I ever believe that we'll ever get it right. To be honest with you.
You won't. You barely did right with Andy Dalton. Bro, what did I do? I'm just saying the facts here.
All right. Anyway, I keep saying it, but for real. Who dey?
Who dat? Nothing.
Okay.
Hey.
Sad who dey.